Did not say that in Sesame Street.
So what did they say?
I don't know what they said in Sesame Street. It just is what it is. Like, you know what? Sesame Street just ended. Yeah, Big Bird and Snuffleupagus. I can't even. How we even bring Sesame Street and we're having beer? Those two things should not go together. What's wrong with me? That is the intro. Shit's gonna get real. This isn't going to be more of a craft beer episode, but it's going to be about the story, one of my origin stories about why I review beers the way I review them. Jaron and his girlfriend, we hung out all the time. My friend Mike from high school, he came out. So we usually we ate Korean food, Korean barbecue, all you can eat, delicious, not about the food. So what ends up happening is they go, Chris, we got to go to the beer garden in Queens. Now, there are multiple beer gardens, but this was at the time when there was only one beer garden. We go to the beer garden. I don't really know much about craft beers or even beers in general, but my friends go, hey, Chris, let's figure out which beer we're going to get. And I'm looking at, like, the menu. And it's just, like, handwritten on the wall with chalk. You know, like most bars are. So we look at the menu, and it goes, Chris, which beer do you want? I'm immature. I'm silly. I'm funny. I see something, and I told all my friends, male and female, Chris, which beer are you going to get? What beer should we get? I go, I want Hoegaarden. All of my friends go, yeah, Chris, we'll drink Hoegaarden too. Just to be perspective, the name of the beer is not called Hoegaarden. It's called Hoegaarden. But because I'm American and I didn't know better at the time, I just called it Hoegaarden. If there's anything that should be called a Hoegaarden, it should be a tool shop for gardens. And if no one's copyrighted Hoegaarden, shoot, I need to go into the next profession. But in any case, so we get the Hoegaarden. It's around November, December. So we're in the beer garden. We're actually outside and it's cold. So we got our coats on and everything's feeling good. I'm drinking this beer and I just feel so jovial and relaxed. And Jaron goes, yo, Chris, so do you like the beer? And I'm like, yo, man, I really like this beer. You know what this beer tastes like? He goes, Chris, tell me what the beer tastes like. Tell me what the beer tastes like. I look him dead in his eye, kind of Law and Order with Vincent D'Onofrio a little bit to the side. I tell him the beer tastes like Paul McCartney's Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. We're only in on our first pitcher of beer, and him and the rest of our friends look at me and go, I've never heard someone refer to a beer as a song, and that song. And that was the start of, and I wouldn't even touch Beer Quest or do anything related to craft beer or beer culture at all for years later. But I knew then, I couldn't tell you about the hops, I couldn't tell you about any of that, but I can tell you what the beer made me feel like. So while that beer is my real introduction to how I need to review things, we got to give credit. I know it's not craft, so if you're like a craft enthusiast, maybe this ain't for you, but this is my origin story. And so to show some love, we have a Hoegaarden, which is a wit beer, also known as a wheat beer, and it just made me feel jovial. And a few friends of mine, when I first moved to the Netherlands, go, hey Chris, which beer are you drinking? Hoegaarden. Chris, there's no such beer as Hoegaarden. It's called Hoegaarden. And if there's anything such a thing as a Hoegaarden, you please invite me first. It was a female who said that. In any case, Hoegaarden. Hoegaarden. So in honor of this gracious beer, I'm going to open it up. But because I'm a fool and I move my keys over there, you're going to watch me get up out of scene and come back with my church key. It's okay, keep it rolling. Shit's going to get real. Do you know how dedicated you have to be that when you have your bunch of keys, you have a church key with you at all times? Look at this church key. It's beautiful. So during Corona times, you know that...
It's better here, I mean.
Yes.
Okay, keep it once again. And yeah, on the same... Wait, once again. Yeah? It's exactly on your eye. Mm-hmm.
So, during COVID-19 times, I still have my church key, but I do one thing. I usually take my hand sanitizer, get a towel, put the hand sanitizer all over it, wipe it down clean, and then I open up other people's bottles. Because I have to be responsible. All beer drinkers, be responsible. So, aha. So you can tell it's a Zvit beer, but the head isn't really that strong. You can even, it almost feels like more malty than anything else. But yeah, to my origin story, or to my origin and how I review and why beers have to be married with music. So to a young Chris Johnson and to an old one. Salute. I don't know if I would still say Paul McCartney simply having, but maybe it being cold, New York cold, being brick, and having my coat on and being outside and having like a little snow touching my nose, maybe it made me feel more Christmassy. But I'm sticking with that story, and this beer tastes like simply having a wonderful Christmas time. I will play a snippet of the song, but Lord knows YouTube will probably take this off, so we gonna live. Or even better, I won't even play the Paul McCartney song. I'll just play the De La Soul version, since that's probably not copyrighted anyway, because that's the shit that I'm on. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Sweating because it's like 90 degrees in the Netherlands right now, but you know what? Around September, my mom would say, hey Chris, Christmas is around the corner. And I would be like, it's not around the corner, and if it is, can you please take me there? And then my mom would be like, I'll slap you in the next week. So I'm trying to figure out the mathematical equation of getting knocked into next week physically and being around the corner. And if some way we could do that, we can jump through time and space. I need to talk to my friends about physics, about this. Because if you can literally knock me into next week and I can get around the corner, we can make a time machine. Now I'm just talking shit. Sorry. Sometimes that's what happens with beer boys. Christmas time. Cue music. The sleigh bells. Oh, if it's not simply having a wonderful Christmas time, the new version, Chris 2020, will review this beer, this Hoegaarden, as Agallah, Crookie Monster. Produced by Alchemist. Is a song where he's rapping as the Cookie Monster. The Cookie Monster is ghetto, is hood, he rob people, he does a whole bunch of that stuff. That's my new review for this beer. I'm the Cookie Monster. And I even think that song has Slave Bells too. Word up, shout out to Sesame Street. I don't know why it's on HBO, but you know, times change.
Nobody in the industry could ever take my style from me. I gotta call the cellular phone from the couch. I don't like when they smoke on my weed, then
until next time, family.
Actually, right down the block and back of me. It's nothing up against selling all the crack happily. Y'all didn't know how I met Oscar. You know Maria, we both done tossed her.
And that's all, folks.